The Spec5 Spectre, quite possibly the most intriguing device in the hottest sector of radio communications today. Let's check it out. Let's talk about what this is and what it's not. Now, this first version, and it is the first version of what is intended to be a line of Spectre devices. This first version is an ESP32 based Meshtastic device coupled to a 2.5-inch Android phone. This is a Meshtastic radio, an Android device conjoined in a 3D printed PETG case. What that means to you is you have to independently charge the 1200 milliamp hour battery for the Meshtastic device and the 700 milliamp hour battery for the Android device. The phone has 2 gig of RAM and 16 gig of storage, and it runs Android 9. The screen resolution is 240 by 432, and it has a 1.3 gigahertz processor. It has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and these specs give it enough horsepower to easily run the Meshtastic apps and several other ham radio apps. This is a dual SIM device, or you can run one SIM with an SD card, micro SD card. The unfortunate news is the cellular radio is 3G, so it is not viable as a cell phone. Now, this also does not have a GPS, but that's not all as bad as it might sound. At least, not in the way I approached this device. I have been approaching this device as a total stealth device. Now, what do I mean by that? I have not run it on a cellular network or a Wi-Fi network. So Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, not even Google has any visibility of this device. Bluetooth aside, this device is totally decentralized and air-gapped. Is that important? Is that a big deal? Well, at best, you don't have to worry about telemetry siphoning resources. At worst, or at the paranoid end of the spectrum, you don't have to worry about leaking personal data or exposing metadata to big tech. I fully configured this device without connecting to the internet, and you can too. I've actually disabled Wi-Fi. I've copied over APK files using Bluetooth from another device, and I used an SD card to transfer over 800 meg of OpenStreetMap's map files for use with aprsdroid. So let's take this device for a spin. The Meshtastic app is responsive and works without issue. The screen is small, but it's bright and crisp. The on-screen keyboard is tiny, but functional. I have side-loaded Wode, and I have it configured to connect to my Kenwood THD75's TNC over Bluetooth. I can successfully send and receive email over RF without the internet. All right, well, let's do a little demonstration. Let me explain what I have going on here. First of all, I've got a Kenwood THD75. This has a built-in TNC, which allows it to send packets over RF. I've got my Spectre, which is configured to communicate with the Kenwood. And then because this is an HT and it only has 5 watts worth of power, I can't reach my remote mail system, which is about 20 miles away. So I have this set up to communicate with this Kenwood THD710, which is set up in crossband repeat. So between the handheld and the mobile, we're communicating over 70 centimeters, and then that message gets repeated out on a 2-meter signal on the other half, or a 2-meter frequency on the other side of this radio. This is a dual receiver radio. All right, so now that I've sent mail through just a regular old email account on my phone to my WinLink account, which is a special email account that goes to a network of servers called WinLink. And we're going to see if we can pick up that mail message using just radio frequency. There's no internet involved here. So I'm going to go into session, which is where I initiate a session with the mail server, with the remote mail server. I'm going to hit start, which will start that process. I can see it woke up this HT. It is communicating over 70 centimeters with this mobile device. This is a 5-watt device. This is a 50-watt device. So I have a much greater chance of making a mail connection with a server 20 miles away with 50 watts versus 5 watts. So after a flurry of activity, we see many log entries here. And if I look out into the inbox, I can see that I've received my message over RF. Outstanding. The Spectre is more than capable of sending internet-free, RF-based email using WODE as an email client and leveraging WinLink. Now, another application that I loaded is aprsdroid. And here you can see it's pulling up a map of the local area. And again, this has never been connected to Wi-Fi or a cellular network. These maps are coming from OpenStreetMap, and they were side loaded using the SD card. So let me make a little change here. So now that I've swapped out the antenna and I've turned the radio on and I've changed the frequency to 144,390, and I have the radio set up to use the KISS TNC at 1200 baud. So now I'm going to go ahead and initiate aprsdroid. And I'm going to go to the hub view and I'm going to start tracking. Now what we should see, we saw the connection between the Spectre and the radio. And as we see packets come in, we'll see them show up here in aprsdroid. And if we click on one of those packets, we will see that station represented on the map. And in this case, this looks like somebody who is set up as a mobile in a vehicle. You can see they selected an icon that is their vehicle. And we can see they're traveling down the highway just south of downtown Dallas. That's Alpha Bravo 5, Hotel Lima, number 9-9. That 9 specifies the type of APRS station he is running. And he's running a mobile station. So that's pretty cool. We can track where someone is on a map and track their travels, again running an application on this little itty bitty Spectre, and it runs this application just fine. All right, so that's aprsdroid. Again, it's fantastic that these applications will run on this little tiny $130 device that you can slip into your pocket. Now, of course, I didn't go into a lot of detail in terms of Meshtastic. Those of you that are coming to this video looking for a Meshtastic device likely already know what Meshtastic is all about. But this application runs Meshtastic very well. There is more than enough horsepower here to run Meshtastic, so no issues at all. And it's a bonus that you can run aprsdroid as well as Wode, and I'm sure other ham radio applications as well. All right, folks, so that is the Spectre, an awesome little Meshtastic Plus device. It's nice to have all of that in one little package that you can slip into your pocket. Now look, there's a lot of people out there making or printing Meshtastic cases. There's a few that are creating devices that are really greater than the sum of their parts. There are even fewer who are creating software for mesh devices. And to my knowledge, Spec5 are the only ones with a unique vision of how to really take mesh networking further. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited to share their devices with you, share their information with you. I believe that this is a company worth supporting, and the rate that they are bringing devices to the market is really pretty incredible. And they're really coming with some ideas to stretch our thinking in terms of what we can do with Meshtastic. So check them out. If you guys are already on the Spec5 bandwagon, let me know which devices you have or which devices you're interested in getting your hands on. I'd love to hear what you guys think of the devices for those of you that already have them. And I'd love to learn more about what devices you might be interested in seeing on the channel. Well, thanks so much for checking out the Spectre. I hope this was informative, and please tell your friends about the channel, share, like, all those great things. It does help, and it is much appreciated. All right, folks, we'll see you next time. 7-3.